The day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews. When the Jew will hide behind stones and trees, the stones and trees will say, O Muslims, O Abdullah, there's a Jew behind me. Come and kill him. Only the Barakat tree would not do that because it is one of the trees of the Jews. All you have to do is Google Hamas charter.
So Google.
Find this.
Google.
Do you know the year they last adhered to
Can I ask a question? Actually, I was going to ask
She asked you a question
I asked
first.
you to, no, I'm
No,
just-
you said this is time for questions. Can I ask my question?
Okay, what was your question?
Okay, my question is, how do you feel you can represent Hamas or any other of the Islamic Jihad? How are you bringing awareness of that within the Palestinian? How are you showing SDSU that part of Palestinian?
Okay, first, okay, she's gonna finish, and afterwards I'm gonna say, if you guys want a permit to make your own event, that's fine. That's cool.
You're just asking a question.
I just have a question.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, first of all, I want to make clear that this charter, I don't think anyone here, and if you do, that's your own personal identity, like really identifies with Hamas, and even people in Palestinian, in Palestine today don't. Not in Gaza. Not in Gaza. Their charter hasn't been used or gone by since 2005.
They never revoked it, though.
They never, no, they did. You can read the articles. Please Google it. It has been. They haven't revoked it. I'm talking.
Google it.
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Yeah, Google it.
Wait a minute. No, I don't want interruptions, please. I honestly, in no way, shape, or form am I here to defend them. By any means, I personally don't care nor support them. The reason why I'm here is, what am I doing here? You said your question is to represent.
No, I was saying, if you're
I'm not
supposed to
representing. I'm not representing.
bring awareness of
what they're
Palestinian,
doing.
are you going
Okay.
to show any awareness of
Yeah, absolutely. The resistance and the fight and the rockets and things like that that you're
Terrorists, things
concerned
like
about.
that,
Yeah. Well, first of all, history doesn't go back to 2005. Okay. History doesn't start with their
2001 was when they started using it.
the suicide bombing attack. And when was the last one?
2001 was when the rockets first started taking
I'm well aware.
Not 05, like you said.
I'm talking about their charter. I'm talking about their charter. But fine, let's go before that. It doesn't begin then. It really doesn't. I think it begins even before 1948, when over 800,000 Palestinians were kicked out of their house. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I condoning violence. Not of Palestinians and not of Israelis. This is why we all, every single one of you, need to be supporting. If you're so adamantly against violence, as I am, then why aren't you supporting the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement and nonviolent approach to ending this conflict? Secondly, if anything were done to the Jewish people, because I need to clarify this myth, this is not a Muslim versus Jew conflict. Wait, it's Zionist versus everyone else. And I'm going to tell you right now that if, let's say, God forbid, the Palestinians were free and they were given their rights as a normal human being, and God forbid, seriously, that any harm or any sort of oppression or anything that's happening right now to the Palestinians is done to the Jewish people, I, and I'm sure many people here, would be the first ones to defend the Jewish people.
Yep.
This is about human rights. This isn't about
So that being said, you have a panel that is Leena Khalid, you know who that is?
love her. Yeah.
Okay, so she hijacked a plane and blew it up.
Yeah.
So you think that is, do you agree that hijacking a plane full of civilians is, whether anyone is harmed, even if there was a hostage rescue, I'm sure
There was a
would be
hostage
people
rescue.
harmed.
Yeah. I mean,
Would you
know,
would you support hijacking planes and blowing them up, like the person you love?
like the person I love. I love her because she's a free thinker. As a woman, one of the first women in the resistance. This is why I love her. Her approach, whether it's taking a plane, she didn't kill anyone. This is true. No one died.
Luckily, thank God.
Luckily, I completely agree. Luckily, she didn't kill anyone. But I don't think, and I think it's it really just sort of exemplifies your privilege. Come from up here and say, she hijacked the plane. Do you know how many people died in Gaza? Forget back in 1973, but 2 years ago, in 2009, 1,400 people. Do you know how many of those were children? Or close to 1,500 people. How many of those were children? Or under 18?
It's sad that Hamas uses those.
Do you know the question?
No, that's your
The
answer.
exact
Wait a
number.
minute.
I
That's your
could turn
answer.
around like
Hold
that.
on. Why would you answer?
My
Your
answer
answer is it's sad that Hamas uses human shields. Okay, Do you realize how many pictures I can show you? Pictures, forget facts, but pictures. I can show you the Israelis using children as human shields.
I would love
But
to
I'm not
see
even gonna go
propaganda
there.
all day, but it's
It's
not.
not propaganda, it's pictures. Do pictures lie?
Is there any more questions?
Just move on, Leena. You should move on to the next question.
No, wait.
Depends on where you put the camera. Yes, pictures are very good at life.
Okay.
That can be on both sides, though,
secondly,
Jason. That's a very
Listen,
simple
all I'm
thing to
gonna
say.
say is every single person here who supports the right of the Palestinians, who supports the right of human rights,
I support. I'm consider myself pro-Palestinian. Yes.
that's fantastic. Then you support nonviolence.
I do support non-violence.
You support a nonviolent approach to ending injustice, to bringing human rights.
Depends on its
on
goal.
both sides.
It depends on its goal. Yes, this is
You
why
don't
I
want to
don't.
end injustice depending on its goal?
No.
Okay, listen.
This year, I know what you're getting at. BDS, boycott, divestment, sanction. Thank you. I don't agree with bigotry and delegitimization and double standards. BDS.
It's not.
And
it's,
I don't think delegitimizing and calling on one side, like the BDS movement does, calling on one side, blaming it for all the problems, is helpful. I don't think that gets anywhere.
I think to deconstruct that sentence alone is going to take a long conversation. And to me, it's really, it's common sense. It's really common sense. When there's a people without rights, there's a need to address that right. And if we can do that non-violently, then we should. I think this is not a conflict between Palestinians and Israelis, I said. It's oppressed versus the oppressor. They're unarmed civilians.
Free Palestine.
Oh no.
You raise your hand?
I was just free Palestine.
I'm going to go back and forth. Go ahead.
Alina.
How long was I in Palestine? I was there 2008, 2009, 2010. So, yeah,
3 years.
hopefully, I was supposed to go to yeah, I tried there. I worked there. I first studied at Birzeit University. And I took Arabic there because my parents screwed me over not teaching me Arabic. So I went to go take Arabic there, and then from there took a class on the history of the conflict, and I thought that was extremely life-changing because you were hearing it from the source, and instead of just saying, 1993 also happened, whatever, he was saying, yeah, I was there, we participated in protests, and if you look out your window, it was just amazing. And then I spent my time at the other time teaching English at refugee camps. Yeah, go ahead.
Because you just mentioned Birzeit University.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll hook you up with a scholarship to go.
You said there were hundreds of roadblocks.
546.
500. I think your information is not quite accurate. As of this morning, there's only 44 left. You should double
that's a
check.
complete, no.
You should double check your sources.
Where's your source?
I tell you
They have removed them completely.
What's your source? Google. Where's your source of this
Israeli
information?
sources.
Israeli sources.
I think you won. They're the ones who are running the roadblocks, right?
Where?
So they should know.
Well,
Only 44 left.
okay, I'd ask you guys to check. Wait a minute. No. I'm going to say one thing in response, and then I'm going to move on to the next question. My fact was as a result of the United Nations Relief Works Agency.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on. Go ahead. Yeah.
And I know that Israel in general has been very successful because there are a lot of Jews who support Israeli products.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe a different, rather than boycotting, maybe it would be awesome to promote buying Palestinian goods.
No, I absolutely. Wait a minute. No. So boycotting is harmful. Let me say.
Focusing so much on negative can't be good for people in general, but promoting something.
No, I hear you. I hear you 100%. And I think you can do both. Okay, the problem with, I hear a lot of Israelis say, don't boycott, invest in Palestinian institutions. That sounds great, but that does two things. And I'm not saying don't. I mean, I'm a Palestinian. I would love to invest in an institution, like really. But I know many Palestinians themselves who live there. I mean, I'm a Palestinian American. I live here, so I can't really even speak for them as much as I'd like to. But they will tell you don't. Don't invest in us because if you do, you're normalizing the occupation. And they don't want to normalize it. They want to get rid of it completely. And the way to do that, you have BDS to me, I think it's such a great movement and it's such a great approach. And you know this, especially when you have so many Israelis themselves supporting it. And they're saying, if you're not targeting the Jewish people per se. This is not about that. What you're doing is you're boycotting from companies or divesting from companies that support human rights violations. And you do this until they put enough pressure on their economy until they secede to our demands. And what are our demands really? Rights. You know? And so you do this until that is met. And once that is met, Palestinians, they themselves say, please invest. You know? But I think it's one, you get rid of occupation first. It's sort of like the cancer. And then all the symptoms will kind of come with that. So,
But if you're boycotting, then you're also boycotting. Well, I'm wondering who it is that you're targeting, because for me, I know so many Israelis who are so against a lot of the Israeli government policy. And
of course,
are
yeah.
totally pro-peace and want
Right, I hear you.
Palestinian rights.
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe some of that could be misconstrued and focused
it
on
is, and that's why there's so
people
much animosity against it, because there's a lot of confusion about what it does, but it's a strong, it's a growing movement that I think is really targeting the right things I mean, I think it helps it elevates the respect for humanity by doing this. I mean, it's already been done successfully in South Africa, North Ireland. I mean, it's already been done successfully, and you have, I mean, I'm not saying South Africa is the answer. I don't personally like to compare South Africa to Palestine, although if you want to define apartheid, you can very easily, because South Africa today isn't the goal. South Africa today, unfortunately, is still very much, for lack of a better term, a mess. And so it's really, it's hard. But I mean, if people in South Africa will tell you, as bad as it is, it's so much better than living the way it was in apartheid years ago. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Why in all the educational system in the Palestinian territories, Israel doesn't exist? If you look in their books, Israel doesn't exist.
No, I mean, having studied there and having taught English and
It
seeing
says
the curriculum.
Palestine and no Israel.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, Palestine will
Why is
always.
that?
I'm answering your question. I think Palestine, for many people, on a very sentimental level, will always live in our hearts. On a map, it's not there.
That's right.
On a map, it's not there. But to many of them, it's not legitimate in the way it came. And so, I'm not here to delegitimize. I think you can have an answer for both peoples. But the people there, it's ridiculous to say that it doesn't exist because it's a little bit delusional. They deal with it every day. They know Israel exists.
But not in their books.
It does. They're not stupid. It does. It's there. What is not?
She said sentimental.
I said for sentimental reasons, but I'm not saying it's not there.
You cannot deny reality.
Because she studied there, she's saying there's actual Israel
No, there
in the
is.
terminology
And they
of
talk
Israel
about,
in
they
the
have
book.
to. I mean, to me, this is the other thing too, you all. When you choose, for example, when you take a class here, wait a minute. No, I'm talking about from the heart. Another thing about privilege, when you all here take a class, I don't know if you guys have it here, I know at UCSD we did, a class on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, or anywhere else. You probably take that class by choice, not by force. For them, they have to start taking that a lot early to understand what's going on, why do they live in the conditions that they do. It exists, they understand the history, they know everything. I mean, to me, I'll never forget this. This is what boggles my mind more than anything, honestly, is when I was visiting Hebron, or Khalil as we say in Arabic. I remember this 7-year-old boy coming up to me and he wanted to give me like a tour of everything. He was so excited, you know, an American, she's here, I'm going to show her. And I was so impressed, but also as much as I was impressed, I was extremely sad at how politically savvy he was at 7. How much he can give me facts, demographics of, you know, the amount of you know, settlers to Palestinians, the amount, you know, the years that, you know, as the demographics changed in 2001, there was this many Palestinians, and then there was this many settlers and Israelis, now there's this. I mean, he can tell me everything. I'm like taking notes. I'm just like, shit, like, okay, you know, and that wasn't his choice. He was born into this. What does that tell you? I mean, this isn't, I mean, in Israel, and I never forget this as well, I spent the first 3 months in the West Bank only. I hadn't even, besides the Jerusalem, I have family in Jerusalem, so I was there, but besides that, I spent the first 3 months in the West Bank, which is very, it looks a lot kind of, I'm going to say a third world country, as much as I hate that word. Very different. And then when I went to Haifa, a day trip with my friends, and then eventually I studied there. I studied at Haifa University. When I took that day trip, I was just shocked. Having been in like a third world like country, to suddenly go to what looked to me like Europe within 15 minutes was a bit shocking. Oh, it's sad. It's so sad.
Well, it doesn't have to be there.